I picked up one of these retro handheld consoles. This one is the RGB20S by Powkiddy, and the seller said that it doesn't power on. But it does actually power on, it just doesn't boot, and all we get is a black screen. So I'm going to show you how to fix it. And if you stick around till the end, I'm also going to give you a piece of advice on how you can prevent this from happening again in the future. So first, just let me show you that it doesn't actually boot up. I'll power it on. There we go. I don't know if you can see the light here. With the lights off, there we go. You can see power indicator light is on, but we get nothing on the screen. All right, so the first thing we're actually going to want to do is just make sure that it's charged all the way. And that's because with these consoles, sometimes they can start to act a bit wonky if you let the battery drain too low. Now if you go and grab a cable like this, which is USB-C to USB-C, it is most likely not going to do anything when you plug it in, which might make you think that there's another problem, but really it's just the cable. And let me show you what I mean. Plug this in here, and plug it in, we get no indication. There should be a red light here indicating it's charging, we don't get anything. And the problem here is usually USB-C requires some circuitry for the devices at each end of the cable to determine which one's going to be primary and secondary, essentially determining which one's going to charge which. And these cheap consoles, they just don't have that. So instead, you're just going to go grab a regular USB-A to USB-C cable, and that should solve your charging problem. There we go. So now we're charging. So now we're just going to let this sit for a good few hours and just make sure the battery is fully charged and see if that solves our problem. Okay, so I've let mine sit for a while, and I already know this isn't going to work because I tried this earlier, but I'll just show you. And I don't know if you can see it. It is on, but it is still not booting. Alright, so since charging it up didn't fix our issue, most likely what we have is a problem with the operating system that's installed on the microSD card. Now these consoles usually come with two microSD cards, one for the games, and this one's labeled game, and one for the OS, which is labeled OS. So we'll go ahead and pop this one out, and this is definitely the original microSD card that came with this console, notoriously bad. They're notorious for failing. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace it with a name brand one. This one's from SanDisk. I'm actually going to use still SanDisk, but it's only 32 gigabyte or 32 gigabyte. You could get away with going as small as 16 gigabytes. But this is what I have, so that's what I'm going to use. So we're going to put this in the computer, and we're going to install ArkOS on this. All right. So once on the computer, we're going to want to navigate to this web page. I'll put a link down in the description. And we're going to scroll down. There's some information on loading this onto an SD card if you want to read through this as well. But down here under download links, we're going to want to find this right here, RG351MP. Now these model numbers you see here are related to Ambernic, which is another retro console device, and the RGB20S is actually a clone of this model as far as I understand. I downloaded from the Google Drive link, but either the Mega or Google Drive should work. Okay, so once you have this downloaded, you're going to navigate to your download location, and it is downloaded in a zip format. So you're going to want to use a program like 7-Zip or something similar to extract it. Okay, so once you have this extracted, you're going to want to use an imaging software. I use Rufus. There's a few of them out there. This is just the one that I prefer. You're going to make sure you have your microSD card selected. You want to navigate to the image of the OS we're going to be installing, and then just click Start. This will erase everything on the microSD card, so if you're repurposing one, definitely make sure you save and back up anything you have on there. Alright, so here we go. So now we can see that it is done, and we can go ahead and close this and eject the microSD card and head back to the console. Alright, so here we are back with a fresh install of ArkOS on a new microSD card. Go ahead and pop this in. Power on the device. And look at that. Now this is going to go through and set things up, so it's going to reboot itself a few times. So just let it sit and come back to it in a couple minutes, and it should be good to go. Alright, so once it stops on this screen, you'll know that it's done setting itself up and you're good to go. You can load your own games and be off having some fun. Now, I also said that I had a tip on how you can prevent this from happening again in the future, and I do, and that is just to make sure you shut it down properly. Instead of using the power button to shut down, what you're going to want to do is get into the Start menu, go down to Quit, and shut down System. Yes. So shutting it down this way will ensure that it powers down properly, and you'll just reduce the risk of corrupting the operating system that's installed on the micro SD card. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe. Thanks, and have a nice day.